but this is gonna be Tiesto, and it's gonna be in English.
Hello everyone, welcome again to one of your favorite podcasts, Farid and Diego. Good afternoon, good day, good night, whatever. We're gonna have a special episode today, so you're probably gonna be psyched out by the fact that you're gonna have to read the subtitles if you don't speak English. But there's a good reason for that, because last week we had an amazing opportunity to interview a great artist. In fact, it's a guy that I admire a lot, DJ Tiesto. He's originally from Belgium, if I'm not wrong. The guy has been Belgium, is it?
Or Holland.
Holland, sorry, my bad. He's from Holland. And the fact that the guy has been around for so many years and has been able to adapt to so many new trends and different trends in the electronic music scene for so many years, it's at least amazing or very impactful. And the fact that he was able to survive and stay true to the way he does things is also very impressive. I don't know, Farid, how did you feel during the interview?
Yeah, definitely. I think we made the best of it. I mean, we're gonna show it right now, but we only had 10 minutes, and even thought we had 10 minutes. I think we made the best of it. We took the best out of it, and he's an amazing guy. I mean, he was really simple, nice with everyone, not only with us, like with everyone. And I can't believe he's 52 and he's still doing that. It's like
he's still doing TikToks and dancing and like improvising. It was really
shows, you know.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Those kinds of shows require a lot of energy and. You know,
and also for me, what is really interesting is that you guys will see during the interview, but the fact that not only is he 52, which is like a lot to be still relevant in the electronic music arena, man. Which is, again, there's people of so many ages already that are fans of electronic music and the different styles of electronic music, me, myself included, and I'm already 38. So it's kind of strange to see him being so relevant with new generations. It's like how strange that a guy that started like almost 20 years ago is still relevant, still making stuff that is new, that is innovative, that is challenging, that is cool, that is it feels like he's still tapping into the spirit of generations in the way that he does music. No, he did it with Business, like his last big hit. He has done it so many times in the past with so many summer anthems like Love Is Gone and like so many different it's crazy. For me it was really impressive. I really felt like I was fanning out in a big sense, because I was really impressed by the guy.
I saw that. I appreciated that.
It was easy to notice. I grew up with his music, so for me it was kind of hard to hide. And even the fact that he's probably one of my top 4 DJs of all time, in the sense that the fact that he could remain relevant for such a long time, and other DJs that I admire a lot kind of disappear in the scene. You know, like they either stop making music or they stay too close into their own style that they were not able to adapt and survive. And that was probably for me one of the big things that blew me away with listening to Tiesto. And the fact that he mentioned, and I don't know what you think about this, that he adapts to these new styles because in the end he loves music so much and he loves producing. So that was his excuse to staying relevant.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is very significant is that what you said, he has been relevant for a lot of time, and I believe in that. Like in the artistic industry, what's more difficult is to stay relevant through time. I mean, you can have a one-hit wonder, or you can be relevant or famous for 5 years or so, but to stay relevant for a long period of time with so many genres passing through and new generations, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I think especially in electronic music, I mean, in the fact that I won't say it's easy to produce or easier to produce, because it really depends on the artist more than the genre itself. But the fact that, for example, he was saying in another interview that he traditionally produces or falls in love with a song in one day. He says that if the song is good, he will produce it in a day and he will feel it in a day if the song is worth the time, the investment and everything or not, right? So in electronic music, you have so many new stuff coming out all the time, like saturating the industry. And again, the fact that one guy can stay ahead of the trends as still the number one and still big, regardless of the fact that there's so many people pumping content into the industry, it was impressive.
Also, another thing I appreciate a lot about him is his humility.
Yeah.
You know, when we mentioned like the difference between a DJ and a producer, and that I told him that I believe he was more than a DJ, but he was also a producer, and he answered like a thing like he was putting himself a little bit like down below from Avicii. He mentioned those kind of guys that he said that they were like original producers, and that took a lot more work. And he was just like a remixer. That was the characteristic of his job, which is not a thing to put below.
It's not to be embarrassed about.
Its own skill, you know. And actually, if you say like if you want to make a metaphor from that, remixing is like a metaphor for a creative, you know, because the creation comes from combining like a persisting idea with a new one, you know, and that synapses makes a whole new idea, you know.
I agree.
And when you remix, you're actually doing that. You're taking like persisting pieces, but you're making synapses with them, and you're making a whole new thing, which is like an original thing.
I think in the end, remixing is probably the core attribute of creativity by itself.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Again, nobody creates from the void. Everybody's creating from a frame of reference.
Exactly.
It's either a frame of reference of time, of influences, of stuff that you like, of past experiences, of stuff that you've seen recently, of stuff that you believe that other people will enjoy. So in the end, we're all remixers. It varies on what level of remixing you are. I think people can remix from very molecular, small fragments of identity from other bigger concepts, or you can be a remixer that is playing with Lego, with larger, more robust, more compound concepts, and you just build upon them to have a final piece. But then again, I agree with your analysis that it is not a devalidating adjective to say that guy is an expert remixer. We're all remixers. I think he's just embracing the fact that he loves to take samples from existing pieces of art, existing pieces of content, and blending them together to create something new.
Exactly.
So, guys, what you're gonna see right now, you're gonna see a slightly change in our attires, in our colors, in the places that we're talking. We're gonna be inviting DJ Tiesto to the conversation. It was a piece that we recorded last week when we were in Vegas. We were able to see him in a day club to perform a full set live. He did some pieces from Avicii that was amazing. He even played Promises, that is one of my favorite songs from the genre. And then after that, we're gonna come back and we're gonna do an analysis from his latest single that is called Don't Be Shy. That was a collaboration done with Karol G, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, actually, we went to the show because of that. It was like the
inauguration or launch event.
Launch event of the song of Don't Be Shy. So we went especially because of that song. So we're gonna analyze the lyrics.
Let's see why we shouldn't be shy, especially in this moment of time.
And I think it's precise to say that for all the people that are maybe watching us and don't know who the hell are we? We are from Mexico. We make analysis of lyric analysis from songs from all kind. We are often speaking Spanish, so this time we decided to speak in English because of the international that is Tiesto, the type of content. So if you don't know us, this is what we do. You know.
And if you want to recommend us any song that you would like to have an analysis about the lyrics, we would love to do that. It's in our field of expertise to understand and deconstruct some phrases, some sentences, even the words themselves, to see what's the meaning hidden behind them. So let's go have a conversation with Tiesto. We'll be right back. Cool. So, Thijs, first of all, thank you so much for this, man. I swear to God, I'm a huge, huge fan since the days of Love Comes Again and everything. I was a trance guy. I was always there. Nice. And one of the first things I wanted to ask you is, what's your magic behind staying relevant for such a long time and adapting yourself to all the changes in the industry for such a long time? I think that's probably the most, beyond the fact that you're a producer, a musician, a DJ, a creator, a creative, the fact that you adapt so much to the different trends of times, that for me is really, really impressive. If you can go into detail of how you do that, that would be really, really cool.
Well, I don't really know how I do it exactly. I wish there's no formula to it. I get bored of myself a lot of times. I want to reinvent myself all the time. You know, I don't want to repeat myself doing the same stuff over and over again. So once I'm really into it, I go full in, and then I move on to the next thing. That's why I always find new sounds and new things to do. And also, you know, life's too short to do just one thing. And that's why I love doing different things. And it's like now with the new single as well. Yeah. It's completely different than anything else I've done before. And it's, again, a different route. Yeah. And, you know, I love it like that. It's the best.
Incredible. If you want to.
There's a big difference between a DJ and a producer. I've heard you talk about that. And you're more than a DJ. You're also a producer, a big one. And I've heard you also say that one of the core of your work is remixing. That's your thing. I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us? I want to hear from you, like, if you can, like, in a poetically way, what does remixing means to you?
Well, remixing is everything for me because as a DJ, you're always mixing. You're mixing different elements of records together. Like back in the days when I started, you really mixed 3 different records together. One was just a beat, other one was a vocal, and the third one was just sound effects. You know, and so that's where it came from. And then I started remixing songs to make them playable in my set. So I was always a remixer first. And it's easier to remix them to be an original producer because you already have the idea of the track. You know, the melody is there, the vocals there. You just have to give it your own Tiesto sauce.
Yeah, like your special touch.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit easier than to be an original producer. So, but yeah, original productions is very difficult. I think there's only a few guys in the world that can actually do it. Like Avicii, he was just incredible, you know. So I would never be like that kind of producer. But remixing I can do all day long. And with demos nowadays, I get a demo, I listen to the vocal, I like the vocal, I change the lyrics, I change the beat, I change the sounds, and that's how I work as a producer. So it's basically still remixing.
Yeah. But with your special sauce, like you said, and going especially into that point, which I think it's cool. How do you relate, like, your view of how electronic music has changed, and the fact that right now we are in a moment where social media has such a heavy influence on what works and what doesn't work, what type of music is going to be catchy or a success or not a success? Yeah. How do you incorporate that angle or that extra piece of context into your creative process?
Well, you know, I'm just very interested in what's happening online. I'm very involved on social media. I mean, I don't post too much, but I look at everything, you know. I look at TikTok a lot, I look at Instagram a lot, and also the people I'm surrounded with are always new DJs, new producers, so they give me inspiration to do different things. And so it's a lifestyle. It's just like, it's not like that I think about it like, oh, I need to make something like this, or I gotta stay cool, I do this. But you just run into people and they give you ideas, or you meet people, you play a show somewhere, and that's where I get my inspiration from.
That's awesome. So going into the music, going to the song.
Let's get into the song real quick. Don't be shy. My question is, does it have to do like with the situation that we're living in? Like, we've been locked down for more than a year now, and we've been like trapped. We can't see each other, and now like maybe we're seeing some light behind the tunnel. This is like a call for when you go out again, don't be shy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a little bit of a coincidence as well. Okay. So, you know, when we made the track, the original part for the lyrics is that this girl, she doesn't care like about the guy that much. She just like, you know, I don't care if you break my heart or not. You just don't be shy and let's have a good time and we'll see what happens. Instead of try to figure it out all in advance before you meet somebody or date somebody. So that's what don't be shy about. But then with COVID, we were like, you know, don't be shy is also
very important.
A very great message to people who can't talk to each other for 15 months, always wear masks, scared of each other. Don't be shy. Look, you know, it's not the end of the world. Let's get back together again when it's safe, you know.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I think that's one of the reasons. Like when I first heard the song, it immediately connected with me. I think it has like this halo of resonance and importance in this moment that we are living. Which, like, again, love is this perpetual emotion that we're always talking about. But love in the context of COVID is so weird. Yeah. Like, we're just like discovering again, what does it mean to connect with people, to create empathy, to look at each other, to be near each other, to trust, you know, not to be shy. So that's why I think it's going to be really an immediate success, not only musically, but I think lyrically, it also speaks a lot to that sense. And a personal question, if I may, how are you when you're shy? Do you consider yourself shy in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got more confident over the years when I got older. But when I was a teenager, I was very shy. You know, I was scared to talk to girls, actually.
You see?
So you know,
we all have hopes.
Yeah, no. When you're in a club and you see this beautiful girl at the end of the room, you're like, oh, I would love to talk to her, but you know,
yeah. It's not easy.
You're too shy, and don't be shy. Like, yeah, that's that resonates as well, for sure.
Yeah. If you want to-
Does like you becoming an artist has to do with talking with girls? I mean, I remember a friend of ours, who is an artist, a very famous artist. He said he started to play guitar to impress girls and talk to them because he was shy. Does that happen to you too?
No. That's pretty funny. Yeah. But no, it's funny because when I started DJing, the DJ was like really like second base.
Exactly.
Like it was all about the bar guy who gives you drinks.
Exactly.
I was in the corner in the middle of
In the dark spot.
in the dark spot,
Yeah.
making there's a dance floor.
Begging for money, begging for
Yeah.
spots. Yeah.
You know, I was cleaning the bathrooms after as well. You know,
Alright.
like and then the
Double
bar.
gig.
Yeah, it was part of the DJ job.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So you
that's how I started. So
Yeah.
I always had the passion for the music, and
Exactly.
it's in the family, and you know, I just love music, and I love entertaining people. I love playing people music, and they're like, ah.
Yeah, and
Or-
it shows, man.
Yeah.
It really shows. It really shows. I think, like, and if we may, not to take too much advantage of your time, because we had so many questions planned, but then
Well, you know,
we can
I
have
got
a
plenty of time.
yeah. If you have opportunity, we would love to speak to you again if it's possible.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to thank you, and we really appreciate the opportunity. Like your trajectory and your work speaks for itself. I think the fact that you're still here, still relevant, still creating new stuff that people love after such a long time and such a brilliant career speaks very highly about yourself as a person, as a creative guy, as a person that loves music. And I think your legacy is going to speak by itself. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. That's
Yeah, man.
amazing.
No, it
to
is.
hear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
But
We're excited to hear you, man.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun set.
If
I
you want
feel
to
like
send also a message to the people from Latin America, I know you have so many fans in
yeah.
Mexico.
No, I was just going to say about my set. I feel like nowadays I'm more like a chef. Like I use all kinds of ingredients from
Makes
all
so
over
much
the
sense.
world.
Yeah.
You know, I can play a little bit of house, a little bit of EDM, a little bit of old trance, and remixes from this, and pop music, and it's just all blend together. And that's what I really like to play nowadays. So it's,
So cool.
and,
Can I ask you just one more question? I know you have a record label name or producer, Musical Freedom.
Musical Freedom, yeah.
Does that have to you? Does the name has to do with like your personality? Like you like to not feel attached to one gender?
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I started the label, because before I was with Black Hole Recordings, and I was in my trance period, and I was just, you know, I was over it. The music, it started to be very repetitive for me. I didn't feel challenging anymore. And in 2009, I started a new label. I was like, I want to be free to play whatever I want.
That's awesome.
And that's why I started Musical Freedom.
Art is supposed to set us free.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
of
what's
course.
the point?
That's the point, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just, I see some bands and they play the same song as they made 20 years ago, and I'm like, you know, do you really enjoy that?
Are you guys happy with it?
Yeah,
I know.
as a DJ, it's the best because
I know.
like you can play.
You're so
Whatever.
creative. That's
Yeah.
it. Man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Do
Nice
you mind
to
if
see
I
you
take a
guys.
couple of pictures?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That'll be awesome.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now we're gonna pass to analyze the lyrics of the song. Don't be shy. As you may see in the conversation with Tiesto, I had a specific. I thought about certain thing specifically about the song, but he said he was a coincidence. But I think I.
Do you believe in coincidences?
I prefer to stay with that meaning. I don't know, but well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, Freud didn't believe in coincidences that much. There's always something behind coincidences.
And I believe he
they
liked
are.
the coincidence.
Yeah.
When I told him about the meaning that I thought it was,
Yeah.
I believe he was like, oh,
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It's good. I mean,
Yeah.
the situation we're living in. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
It resonates a lot.
he resonated. Yeah. So let's start with it. It says, people say I'm not gonna change. Not gonna change. I know that you like that. You know where my mind's at. Can be tamed.
Can be tamed.
Can be tamed. I'm not gonna play. Not gonna play. Oh no, I ain't like that. Fuck him. I'm a wildcat.
Okay, so it started by saying I'm not gonna change. It's always strange in the fact that when you're in a relationship, there's always this struggle between embracing and loving the person
The
for what they
otherness.
are, the otherness in the
Exactly.
other, versus transforming them into something that you want them to be.
Yeah.
But it's also a very weird dilemma or duality, because at the same time your love in a way creates this fantastic illusion or idealization of the other, where you try to imprint all this affect, this libido, this desire for the other, and you in a way you idealize them and you make them
course.
in totems that are larger
Yeah.
than themselves. But also you begin this struggle of where you slowly realize there's always a difference or a gap in between the object of reference of desire versus the idealized version of the person that you desire. And I think she starts very strong by saying, this is me, I'm not going to change. But also she implies that this is what you like. Almost is an insightful statement saying, you originally fell in love with me because of what I am.
Yeah.
Don't come and try to change me now. The fact that I'm a wildcat is that fuck your desire to change me. It's almost like saying, I'm going to stay static to what I truly was at the beginning. So don't come now trying to change me and trying to impose your idealized version of myself in me now.
And sometimes in relationship, that's very common. Like you have a thing with certain conduct, and you tell the other that you want him or her to change that. And after that, you realize that you didn't really want it to change.
Exactly.
I mean, you miss it.
Miss that. It was almost like self-sabotage.
Yeah, exactly.
It was almost like self-sabotage, because this is strange. It feels like the desire to change the idealized other is a defense mechanism against the abysmal felt of loss of control when you're in love with someone else. You know, like when you're in love with someone else, I heard this comparison recently and I felt it was really amazing. I read that being in love, it's a problem of focus. It's a disease of focus.
Oh, of course.
Right? It's like
Ortega Gasset.
Ortega Gasset. Ortega Gasset says that love is like a disease of focus.
Of course.
It's like you normally can focus on so many things at the same time, but when you're in love, you get this disease that you can only focus in
like
one
an obsessive,
thing.
like we said in the
OCD.
In the previous.
You become an obsessive, right? So at this initial statement, it's weird because it's very smart of her to say that I won't be susceptible to this desire of change that you are imprinting on me. I'm going to stay true to myself because I know that's what you originally love about me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay this wildcat. Even against your will to sabotage our relationship, I'm going to stay untamable or untamable in the fact that I'm not going to be tamed by your desire.
But don't you think that sometimes it's like... I mean, it's good and perfectly healthy to change certain conducts
for the other
that are not working in the relationship. I mean, because we have like this romantic idea, which I believe it's very archaic, that you have to love everything about the other.
Right.
Like you have to accept me as who I am. Like
fully
everything.
Embrace me.
And if you don't love me.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not real love.
And I believe that ideal is very archaic because if we are realistic, you can't love everything about the other.
Yeah.
It's impossible. The best you can do is like to recognize the other as he or she is, but not necessarily like love their flaws. You know, you can recognize and accept their flaws, but not love them. I believe that if we go like way back to the Greeks, they strive for perfection in love, you know, and I believe that the relationship must like strive for that, like not to be perfect because it's impossible, but to be perfectible. I don't know if it's well said.
To reach for or strive for perfection.
Exactly. To immerse each other like in a process or a path of becoming better for each other. I mean, you know, and sometimes to really do that, you have to recognize
the otherness in the other.
The otherness and the other and your own flaws, you know.
It's very interesting, and you know, there's one very cool Aristotelian definition of love which I really like. That is that love is transforming you and I into a potential us.
Exactly.
So you know, I like this notion of love being a project of us, in the sense that in the process of loving each other, we will transform ourselves into something that is more compatible or functional or healthy in the process, right? But then again, this also takes me to a very pragmatical idea of love, which I don't completely like, to be honest with you. I'm more of a romantic. I like drama. I like drama in the sense that I think toxicity, imperfection, flawlessness, it injects an extra layer of jouissance, in the sense of add the desire, goce, like add the additional pleasure that is beyond the healthy pleasure. It's unhealthy pleasure of relationships, you know. And it's strange because it feels like almost we have this natural instinct to have these unhealthy pleasures in relationships. You know, we enjoy the toxicity, we enjoy the differences, we enjoy the flaws, we enjoy these clashes, these conflicts. We enjoy them. It's weird, but it's also, it brings me to the question. are we able to have so much pleasure from our relationship without the unhealthy pleasure? Can healthy pleasure replace all the unhealthy pleasure of relationships? Can relationships survive only on healthy pleasures alone? Or do we fundamentally need some unhealthy pleasures
definitely. I
in where as
believe
well?
that you need the contrast, definitely. But I mean, there's some kind of contrast and other kind of contrast.
I agree. There's levels.
There's levels of
not black and white.
toxicity,
I agree.
exactly. So
Not stabbing each other, hitting each other. You don't need to go that far. Yeah.
you ended up dead.
Well,
I enjoyed the
it was
flaws.
Yeah, it was awesome for a while. So let's go on with the sun.
Okay, let's move on. Where is she says, "Baby, break my heart. Give me all you got. Don't ask why. Don't be shy.
So break my heart. It's all yeah.
Yeah, she's looking for she obtains a secondary pleasure from.
Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. This is exactly what I meant when I was talking about this notion of relationships have to survive in a way with this balance between healthy and unhealthy pleasure. And I don't think all unhealthy pleasures from relationships can be substituted for healthy pleasures. I really believe so. The fact that break my heart, give me everything that you got, be that intense, energetic, passionate guy, don't be shy. Just let it, give me everything that you got.
But you really, we can also state this premise she knows what she wants.
Nobody knows what they want.
But, she's saying baby, break my heart, but do you
really mean it? Yeah. Do you know what it means?
Do you know what it means? Or do you really want to be broken?
What is that? You want him to date your mom or something like that?
The desire. She only wants the desire, the fantasy, the imagination that she has. Not
the realization of her desire.
The realization of the desire.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe we're seeing here an hysteric girl.
I think so.
Yeah. Probably.
It's very hysterical. Yeah.
Well, then she says, "Is it love or lust?" Nice differentiation. I can get enough. Don't ask why. Don't be shy.
Is it love or lust? Okay, tell me what you think. What is it, love or lust?
Sometimes we get confused with that. It's very common to determine or to question ourselves about the difference between love or lust. Lust meaning a sex.
Libido.
A libido. But the
physical.
The physical thing. And to be honest, I believe when we were talking about this study about the chemistry of love, I believe they're absolutely different stuff, but sometimes they intertwine. Because actually the brain regions that activate with one thing and another are different. So definitely you can have sex with someone you don't love. Definitely.
And you can love somebody that you don't have sex with.
Exactly. For example, adults, people in la vejez.
Same, third age or older people.
Old people probably don't have sex. They
have less.
Yeah, they have, or maybe at the 80 years old you don't. And that doesn't mean you don't love your partner.
Yeah, I agree. I think again, I don't even see them as a duality, and it's strange because in English, the fact that the two words sound so similar, it feels like they have this huge connection, or they're so close to each other because they begin with la, love and lust, and even I think this type of semantic games. They make sense in one language because of the phonetics.
Of course.
But if you translate them to other languages, they don't sound so much alike. Yeah, exactly. And even you could substitute the words, and you can say, being horny and being in love. And it already feels different. It doesn't sound so similar. Even if lust is not an exact synonym of lust, horniness and lust is not exactly the same thing. One could be more vague, more banal, and the other one could be slightly more romantic if you want. I think that they are using a play of games and sounds to make it feel like the two words are very close, even if I don't believe they're close enough. The other fact that is interesting is I think that lust fundamentally needs an imaginary support. Okay, you cannot feel lust for somebody or even for another object or for another concept without some imaginary support. Of course. You need a certain degree.
Like a fantasy.
Exactly. You need the support of fantasies. You need the support of fantasies in order to build a lust. In order for lust to exist, you need the support of a fantasy itself. And it's strange because in a way, love it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy in the sense of building this ideal other, idealizing, constructing this totem, this notion of the super other.
Give what you don't have to who isn't.
To
Oh,
who
like
isn't,
that.
yes, to somebody that doesn't exist. So it's strange. I think in they do support each other, and the fact that she's confusing love and lust could be very chemical. In the fact that it's like it feels like
You're infatuated, you know.
exactly, you're infatuated. It feels like a distortion in the field of perception. It's like something weird is happening in my field of perception, so I'm confused. Is it love or is it lust? But because you're intoxicated, it feels like intoxication. This like
And
uncontrollable desire.
Something that is interesting that I just
Thought about?
realized is like how lost sound. So how similarly it sounds like being lost, like
Lost and lust.
lost and lost.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you can have like a dissimilarity because somehow when you're with the other, when you have a sexual relationship with the other, you're being lost into the other.
Absolutely.
You know?
You wanna merge.
You're merged.
Yeah.
You get lost to the
Yeah.
other. So I don't know. It just sounded to me.
And I think it's a super cool analysis because the fact that this notion that a hug fulfills even for a second the desire to merge with the other. You know, like when you hug somebody that you really love and you hold them really tight and you squeeze them between your arms, it's like I want to be one with the other.
Exactly.
I want to merge myself with the other. And this idea of lust and lost, it's interesting because it also drives this notion that when you are making love, you're getting inside the other person. You have this
getting
idea,
out of you.
yeah, and you penetrate the otherness, or you penetrate the barrier of individuality, and you become even for a second, you become like very internally and intimately connected. So I think it's a very good relationship between lust and lust.
Yeah, and also like when you are horny or whatever you want to say, when you want to have
this
relationships,
physical desire,
when you have physical desire, you also get lost of rationality.
Yeah,
Man.
lost of reason.
You get lost of reason, exactly. So you have that part too, like that relationship, that closeness between lust and lust is interesting.
Love is a disease.
Yeah. And then, well, la 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 la, da 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 da. Well, what she means with that, just kidding.
The benefits behind la 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 la. Yeah. Well, I think L, and I've always had this interpretation. L, like lust, love, lost, it's a very sensual sound to make.
Of course,
because
like
of the way that you roll your tongue and the way it impacts your lips and it touches your mouth. It's a very sensual sound to make. And I even believe that some languages and some words in specific are more sensual than others. You know, like it feels very strange. Can you imagine to flirt in like Russian or in German when words are so tough and harsh and the sounds are like so like solid and hard and harsh. And in English, everything is like blah, 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 blah. And I think some romantic languages has that as well. Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, French, where the sounds themselves, they help you get into that sensual mood. And I've always had this notion, I don't know why, maybe I'm projecting myself, but L is probably one of the most sensual sounds to pronounce. Yeah. By what they do to your mouth is almost like you're licking yourself. It's like from the inside. So like this idea of la 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 la, it's almost like it could be cunnilingus or something like that, but it's weird. I think it's random in the sense that it's purely rhythm, but then again, I don't believe in coincidences. That's why, like, if it sounds sensuous, it has to have a connection between the ideal world, in the sense of ideological, and the physical world versus what it does to your body, right?
Yeah, actually, now that you say it, do you think that there's a relationship between, like, precisely the movement of the tongue, of the L,
I think so.
and the words it begins with? For example, like
screaming,
licking, lengua, lamer,
and I think so for real, because in a way, language emerged as this network of meanings. Like we had to make sense of the real world that we're experiencing, and we had to attribute certain characteristics to certain events. So we start by creating this sense of referential meaning. So the sound has to be self-significance by itself for people to understand what is it referring to. Because if you don't have any relationship between the sound that you're making and the object that you're referring to, or the action or the memory that you're referring to, people won't be able to easily relate. So of course there needs to be a frame of reference. That's why, like, for example, crunchy sounds like crack tend to you tend to attribute them to active action. to something that takes energy, action, and whatnot. And M tends to be more passive, tends to be more mellow, and stuff like that. And that's why I believe L is a very sensuous word to pronounce, and it's no coincidence, under that same logic, that a lot of words in different languages that require your tongue to massage your inner lips start with L or sound with L.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and that just emerged because we just say
La 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 la. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
people say, well, it repeats. People say, I'm not going to change, not going to change. I know that you like that. You know where my mind's at. Can be tamed. I'm not going to play, not going to play. Oh, no, I ain't like that. Fuck them, I'm a Wildcat. Oh, this is interesting. I think we didn't...
We skip it?
We skipped it before. But what's the reference or the meaning behind Wildcat? You know, that's like a common reference or analogy between like being a beachy or
let me give you an analysis. I think it's several levels in the sense that first, wild, it's the opposite of tamed.
Yeah,
like
you're savage, you're extrovert. You know?
Exactly, but also in the sense that a lot of animals were domesticated, and some species of animals are unable to be domesticated. Like for example, they say zebras within the families of horses, donkeys, and asses and whatnot. Zebras we are unable to domesticate them. They are untamable by nature, right? So for me, this antagonism that is created is between tameable and untamable, wild and tameable. You're and she's saying I'm wild, I'm not tameable, okay? Which is also interesting by the fact that, of course, in this patriarchal hierarchy, we tend to have like men as the dominant genre and women as the dominated genre, because dominative requires dominated,
of course,
right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. One doesn't exist without the other. You need somebody to dominate. For somebody to dominate to exist, they need to dominate over someone else, right? So this antagonism, this duality is always created, like you have to find the antagonism to give sense to the other one. This is like, who was it? Derrida. This idea of the dualism of words, that you have to find the meaning of friend in the idea of enemy. In enemy, you understand the idea of friend. So she's referring to herself as a wildcat in the sense of this duality between tameable and untamable.
Exactly.
But also the fact that she uses cat is interesting, because cats they are tamed animals, but they are very borderline. Like they behave the way they like, and they behave in your house like they're king of the throne. You know, like I'm gonna be here with you, but I'm the owner. Like you're gonna serve me. And then again, there's the third level of analysis, which is the fact that pussy and pussycat, it's very understandable in English as a frame of reference, also related to the female genitalia and the female gender. So I think it's a very interesting choice of words to say I'm untamable like a wildcat, because it's weird, because she's saying I'm a woman, I'm a pussy, but I'm untamable like that. So I'm a wild pussy in a way. Okay, so that's the reason I think that's a choice of words.
I was also thinking about that. Like be in between, a wild, a savage, and tame, and a cat, which is an animal that is common tame.
Yeah.
You're somewhere in between.
In the middle.
In the middle. And then it repeats again, baby, break my heart, give me all you got, don't ask why, don't be shy. Is it love or lust? I can't get enough, don't ask why, don't be shy, la 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 la. Okay, and this is different. Show yourself beautiful, wanna get emotional, follow me, easy now, we could work a miracle, yeah. And then repeats, baby, break my heart, and is it love or lust?
Can you read again the last paragraph?
Show yourself beautiful. Wanna get emotional? Follow me, easy now. We could work a miracle? Yeah.
Do you think when she says, wanna get emotional, do you think it's like a deception to get emotional? Or you think she's exclamating to get emotional as also a good part of showing yourself?
I believe that she's talking to... Like, let's say the song is "Don't Be Shy." I believe she's trying to tell someone come out and let's have fun or get emotional, So I believe she's saying, "Show yourself beautiful." I mean, come on, don't be shy to show yourself that you're beautiful, I guess. And when I get emotional, I mean, let's have fun.
Let's embrace our feelings.
Let's embrace our feelings. Follow me, don't be shy.
Follow my example in a way.
My example.
The wildcat.
We could work a miracle.
I think it's a nice ending in a way of saying I think that the parts that build upon this notion of not getting shy is first this idea of revealing yourself, which then again I have some resistances versus this notion that is there a real you to show inside of you. I struggle with that notion.
Approximations.
Yeah, I struggle with that idea because I think it's very new age in the sense that it's very artificial to. Is there something inside of you that you can reach by yourself, that you can show? I hardly believe so. But I also believe at the same time that it's true that we're all acting out so much that we tend even to get lost between all these demands of acting other people's desires upon us. Like we're expected to behave in so many ways that we get lost, and we hardly question, do I want that which is desired of me? You know, like I love this sentence, and it's something I did for the analysis of the ending of Evangelion, and it's this sentence from Lacan. Lacan says that the objective of analysis is for the subject to realize if they really want what they desire. Is to get
the conciliation between the
exactly conciliation. That's the perfect word. The conciliation between want and desire. Do I want what I desire? Because the premise is that one doesn't choose what they desire. I cannot choose what I desire.
Exactly.
If I'm suddenly like, I don't know, like walking in a club and I see a super hot girl that I desire, I don't choose who to desire. And maybe she has a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, and it's like, well, desire just sprung out of me because it came from the id. You know, it came from a very suppressed, instinctual, libidinal eros. Like it's a desire. I don't control it. But then what you have to do is that you have to make peace. Do I want to act upon this desire or not? Or do I suppress it? Or do I like give it another meaning? Do I symbolize it or something else? You know, like how do I deal with my desire? So that part I think is really cool about the song. This notion about showing your true self beautifully, but it also implies that you're gonna have to make peace. Do you want what you desire or not?
And you believe that desire is something that definitely something spontaneous, something beyond your control. But you believe that spontaneous moment or that spontaneous object can be provoked like consciously?
Well, the Freudian explanation to that is that we have three levels, right? So unconscious, preconscious, and conscious. What is in the preconscious is whatever can become conscious at any given moment of normal life, right? What is in the unconscious has to first become preconscious in order to become conscious eventually. So the unconscious have several things. One of them is the repressed desires. All the desires that emerge from the id, they reach the I, and when the I cannot deal with this desire, the I represses the desire and sends the desire back to the unconsciousness level. And then in the unconscious, we forget about the desire. But the desire keeps manifesting itself as impulses, as symptoms, as deformities of the original desire itself. So and it's strange because if you go further into the reading, this notion that, well, desires have an origin, but they have an origin in the unconscious. So for them to be brought out of consciousness, they have to be triggered by, you know, like the speech of the other, the language of the other, society, what others expect of me, this notion of what I want. And of course, there are some libidinal, instinctual desires like hunger, desire for sex, for reproduction, being tired. Like those desires can be very instinctual, almost like animal. But some other desires can be social, can be about success, about lust, about passion, and they will have more like a reconstitutive notion in the sense that the others will imprint the desire upon me. They will reach my unconscious, and then they will eventually emerge out of my id, and I will perceive them as my own desires, even if they're not, even if they were stolen from somebody else. That's my interpretation of it.
Definitely. And I mean, what I was trying to ask is like, if you believe that precisely that object of desire, which is spontaneous, I mean, you're not like voluntarily can say, oh, I want this. And I mean, you can't.
We don't know what we want. Yeah.
Exactly. But what I was asking or thinking is like, maybe you can like manipulate the variables to make like that spontaneous moment of the desire of the object change. I mean, if we say like maybe the speech of the other, the society you live in, all that, all that have an influence in the object of your desire. What happens if I voluntarily make a triple mortal, go to live in another place, leave my family? I believe naturally my desire will change. I don't know to where, but it will change, I guess.
But then again, remember that desire, when it manifests into the I, it's already distorted because it's the fact that we could not deal with it originally. It's always like a manifestation that is always like mutated. It's always like deformed by this halo of whatever. You know, like this is a very old example from Freud that like say like I fear horses. I fear horses. I fear horses. I don't like authority. I hate my father. Like what originally triggered your fear of horses was your hatred for your father. But the fact that you couldn't deal with the fact that you wanted to commit patricide or kill your father and you repressed it made the desire come back in distorted ways again and again and again and again until somebody, a psychiatrist, a psychoanalyst, a psychologist, was able to have a conversation with you and find these missing pieces of the puzzle within your speech and reconstruct your past, giving meaning to your past in a different point of time where your personality is more powerful, has more strength, and you're actually able to deal with your desire and say, well, I don't really want to kill my father. I mean, I don't like him because of a lot of things, but I don't want to kill him. So I don't fear horses anymore because I was able to make peace with the fact that this repressed desire that I originally had now has another meaning that I can actually make peace with, and I can move on. And going back to the song, I think that this notion of showing yourself beautifully, it also implies a growth of character in the sense that for you to be able to show your true self, you have to strengthen your character. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make peace with your desires. And your desires are going to keep getting repressed and keep coming back as symptoms unless your character goes stronger with a stronger superego, with a stronger notion of self, with work on yourself about self-identity, about affirmation, going to therapy and growing as a person, growing more mature, understanding the roles of society and the reason of reality, falling in doubt, falling in love with this notion of lack of knowledge. These will strengthen the character and eventually will give you the opportunity to show your true beautiful self. Otherwise, it's fake.
Yeah, somehow like we can reframe or take out a meaning of show yourself beautiful as make peace with your desire. No, reconciliate with your desire.
Yeah. Do you want? Yeah, exactly. That's a cool thing. So, what do you thought about the song?
Well, I liked it. I mean,
we heard it live
for
as
dancing,
well.
Yeah. And I firstly, we didn't have like the opportunity to make this analysis literally. But at first, like I said in the interview with Tiesto, I thought at first like it was somehow a message for everyone.
Post-COVID.
Post-COVID, you know, we started getting out of our houses. We've been locked down for more than a year, and that affects your social skills. Absolutely. And that affects you've been disconnected with the others. And somehow I firstly interpreted it as like, don't be shy to go out and connect with others again, since you've been
locked up for so long. But I'm gonna give you the reason here. I think you're absolutely right. Because why? Because if we try to apply the same notion of repression of desires on society, I think that the song itself is a symptom, right? So even if the words are twisted, they are speaking about the repressed desire. And for me, the real repressed desire is to get out of COVID. So this song for me, it's a manifestation of a twisted symptom that we do have. We do want to get out. We do want to connect again with each other. This is just a twisted symptom. This is why this song will connect with people, because people internally they need tools, they need weapons of resistance to give meaning to their repressed desires. So that's why I think perseverance, like this is a good analysis. A good analysis is to go beyond the objective lyrical meaning of and go into the symbolic meaning of things, and which actually, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I mean this song was contingent of
context
of COVID. It was just written and made and produced in COVID. So absolutely, definitely should.
People were very careful at the party that we went to. Everybody had safe spaces and like social distancing. No, not really. We were lucky. We were in a cool place, like above the DJ, so we had a lot of space to breathe, and everybody was like at least a little bit apart. But in the middle of the party, it was like let's say risky to say the least.
Yeah, definitely.
I took a test and I'm negative, so I'm pretty safe.
I took two and I was negative. I've never had COVID.
Lucky guy.
Never.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been very, very lucky. So well, thank you. I guess this is it.
Yeah.
Or you have everything else?
Yeah. I'm happy with the analysis.
I'm happy too. I hope you're happy too, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that all the people that are like or that listen to us regularly could understand well all what we
try to explain.
And leave us your comments. Like, what do you think? How was this? Did you like it? Should we do this kind of analysis in English, international, more often?
Yeah, and it's weird. I felt it was an original opportunity for us to explore ideas that we have spoken about in the past in a different way.
Yeah.
And even speaking about the same topics in a different language, it gives them a different meaning. You know, like
Yeah, of course.
it's almost like seeing the same thing from a different angle, which is cool. It's like, I don't know, you like to draw, but then one day you have to do sculpture.
Yeah.
So it's like you're in love with the notion of aesthetics, arts, and shapes, but then you have to do it in three-dimensionally. And I think speaking in other languages give you that opportunity. So everybody that you saw us for the first time, or you like fell in here by mistake because you like Tiesto or because you like the song, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave us your comment, subscribe, like. If you want to see more content like this, especially in English, leave us a comment about which song would you like us to talk about, and we will do that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon.